And I'm here. Also another classic. Absolutely love it. Speaking of angels, I've got an angel with me in studio today. I would put the spotlight on Sadie Brown. That's our Youth Month special. Sadie Brown, who's a 22-year-old living with HIV. Good morning, madam. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
You look so cute.
Thank you.
Did you dress up for me?
Yes.
Really? I like it. How are you feeling this morning? Are you feeling great?
I'm
You
good.
feeling
I'm
comfortable?
great. Yes.
Sadie, let's talk about your upbringing. Where were you raised?
I was born and bred in Itsoseng. It's a small township in the Northwest Province.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So yeah, I'm 22 years old.
And you had a normal childhood.
Yeah,
like you did what we all did in the township. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then you have siblings?
Yes, I have a big sister and a big brother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. Now you are here as because we are also celebrating you for Youth Month for coming out and speaking about the fact that you are HIV positive at the age of 22. Now. This is something that's HIV is really big in this country, and it affects a lot of young people. If you look at our stats right now, you found out that you were HIV positive at the age of 14, which changed your life forever.
Yes.
Do you want to take me back to that day in school, and what made you decide to actually go for a test?
Okay, so what happened was that I was 14 at the time, right? I was in grade 10, so it was around June. So there was a youth day event that my school was invited to, and then I was one of the learners that were invited to attend this event to represent my school. You know? So we get there is this organization. We didn't even know what they did, and then they tell us who they are, what they do, and then they were like, okay, if you'd like to have an HIV test, you can come. I innocently just went there because, just for the sake of going back home and being like, hey,
Yeah.
I had an HIV test. And then I get there, I meet this lady. She's like, okay, so what's your name? I'm like, Sadie Brown.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, so what are you going to do if you find out if you find out that you're positive? I'm like, I don't know. And then she's like, okay.
This is the pre-counseling, of course.
Yes. And then she asked what I'm going to do if I find out that I'm negative as well. And then after that, she just took my blood. And then about 10 minutes later, she came back and she was like, okay, Sadie Brown, you're HIV positive. And that was just that. I remember I was so confused because at the time, at 14, you're like, but how? I mean, HIV, it's something that we as human beings, we associate it so much to intercourse and everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, at 14, I'm not even dating. I'm like, but how? That's like the first question I asked her. I said, how?
Yeah.
And she was like, but you are. I asked her to do another test. She was like, okay, I can't.
So it never crossed your mind ever that you could be.
It never ever crossed my mind. I mean, no one really thinks that they could be HIV positive anyway. So it never really crossed my mind. Even when my parents passed on, my mom passed on when I was 10 and my dad when I was 9. It never even dawned on me that, okay, maybe they could be dead because of HIV or AIDS-related diseases. Yes.
Now, you're talking to a lot of young people and also older people that are listening to you that are truly inspired by your story. Some fear of, some are really scared to go for an HIV test, because of what they may find out. I just want to know, still on that day, how long did it take you to accept your HIV status, and what was going on through your mind? I just want to know, were you scared? Did you cry? Were you confused? Did you call anyone after speaking to the counselor at school?
So what happened was that just after I found out, because I was still at the school trip, right? So I knew that, okay, if I cry now, if I break down now, by the time I walk out of this room, everyone will know my results. So I just kept everything in, and I went back there, and I just became, I just went back to being the bubbly me, I went back home. I was still very scared to tell my aunt, because even at that point, it's not even a thought that maybe I could be born with this virus. I'm like, okay, if I tell her that I'm positive, then I'm going to be having to explain where I got the virus from, and I don't even know where I got it from.
Yeah.
So I was so scared. It took me 6 months to eventually say, okay, Mama, I'm HIV positive. And so a week or two after the incident, desperately needed a distraction because it was forever in my mind. I was forever thinking about this thing, and I wasn't telling anyone about it.
Yeah, listen, we're going to be chatting to you a bit more. You're a star, you're an angel. If you have any questions for Sadie, 089 that's the number that you need to call. And of course, also, if you are in a similar scenario, you need to stay tuned to the bridge. As Sadie is a 22-year-old who's living with HIV, who's doing really remarkable work with the likes of, doing motivational talks and encouraging other young people in this country to go do a test, and of course also to have, safe sex. We're going to be taking your calls, 089 003377.